Hello and welcome to Art Alive. This week we're at the World Museum for the exhibition Maya's Revelation of an Endless Time that features almost 400 objects belonging to the pre-Columbian civilization. I'm now joined with Emma Martin, who's the head of ethnology here at the National Museum Liverpool. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Can you tell us a little bit, how did you work with the National Institute of Anthropology and History?
Sure. It was about a year ago we were approached by the Mexican Embassy to ask if we'd be interested in hosting an incredible exhibition. It was a very short timescale for us, really. We normally have 2 or 3 years to plan a major exhibition like this, but we were really keen to have it, I have to say, because we knew the calibre of the collections, and I think Mexico also wanted it to be outside of London. They actually wanted it to be in the north of England somewhere, and as we're the only national museums in the UK that's outside of London, then it seemed a good opportunity for us to do something really special here. We had a number of negotiations and discussions over the months to come, and then in August we really started to work on the exhibition together. And so it's quite a challenge because we'd never seen these objects before. So we were working with collections where the archaeologists and the curators, they'd worked with them for years, and then they were coming to Liverpool. And so the first time that we were going to see them was only 2 weeks before the exhibition opened.
That's a bit scary.
It is quite scary because when you are building an exhibition like this, to buy cases, to build the sets, to think about what you're going to write even. You like to look at what you're going to be writing about and what you're going to be building a case for. So that was a great challenge for us, really. But we'd been provided with fantastic information, the text and the labels that we just needed to work a little bit on for our UK and particularly our Liverpool audiences.
And this is not a coincidence because 2015 is the year of Mexico in the UK.
Right. So this is the big cultural offer for that programme for this year. It's a mixture of business and cultural events right throughout the year, and it's incredible that the main cultural offer is right here in Liverpool. It's a spectacular show, 385 objects. It's really a once-in-a-generation opportunity for people to see this material after it closes here on the 18th of October, goes straight back to Mexico. So the chance of actually seeing these objects together again in the UK is going to be, very, very rare. You're going to have to wait a very, very long time to see something like this again. Yeah.
Okay. And the fact that you have so many different objects here. There's like jewellery, architecture, furniture, plenty of things.
Yes. We go from the tiniest little gold frog with beautiful turquoise eyes right up to a 900-kilo stone ball court marker that was used for ball games in one of the great cities of the Maya civilization. So we really do go the whole range of object size and object use, really, through this exhibition. But there are other fabulous things, and it's almost the everyday that is the most exciting. There's an incredible brick, and so if you come and look out for it. There's an incredible brick here. What would happen is that one of the cities here anyway was built with bricks, and the brick makers, to show their artistry, would actually draw pictures into the bricks before they put them into the buildings. Okay. And so when the buildings were excavated, they found all these incredible drawings on the bricks. And there is one where a man just sits there, he's probably having a break, who knows what he's doing, but he's just about to drink from a cup. And he's just taking in the smell of what is in that cup and just really enjoying that moment. And it just gives you a really incredible connection to the person who made that and to the Maya people. And
we see that they had a different way of life in some categories. For instance, religion, they had different beliefs.
Absolutely.
But what you're saying is that actually they were maybe not that different.
Many connections, and I think this is the wonderful thing about these objects, in that you can feel a connection for people who lived several thousand years ago. In this case, more than 1,000 years ago, there was a man who sat down to make this brick, and he was just recording something that he considered to, he'd just got a memory of something that had happened, and it might be the same memory that we have today of sitting down after a hard day's work, drinking a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and just enjoying that moment. And so, yeah, it's universal feelings, really.
And so, I mean, from an ethnological point of view, then, were they thinking about when these temples, or I mean, you don't call them pyramids, but these temples would be excavated then?
I'm sure not. I'm sure this was just incorporating somebody's artistic flair. But it's interesting that it seems that many of the bricks from this city were decorated in some form. And so it just shows that the detail, the level of detail that went into making these incredible structures. And there was nothing left unturned, really. Everything was thought through, and there was just a level of elegance and sophistication to everything that was done in these cities.
This is one of the most important exhibitions that we have made about the Maya civilization. The first place it was located is in the National Palace in Mexico. Then this exhibition traveled to Sao Paulo in Brazil, then to Paris at Quebranly, and now the last venue is here in Liverpool. So this is the end of this long tour from this Maya exhibition. It's important because it has 385 pieces that belongs from 18 different museums, especially the museums located in the Maya lands, and the National Museum of Anthropology, that is the major house of archaeology in Mexico. When you start at the entrance of this exhibition, you will see how people are related with nature. And when you are coming and go through the exhibition, you will see how they live. By example, we are in this gallery that is called the heart of the city, because it's plenty of sculptures, it's plenty of architectural elements, and you can have an idea, a big idea, how they live, what are the size of their cities, how they count the days, how they count the years, how they can give names, how they write their history. And through the exhibition also you can find their beliefs, their religion, and also many of their rituals, how they used to bury their people and give offerings and make some kind of special rituals.
What was the difference between their beliefs, for instance, and ours, and what kind of religion they were believing in? I mean, they were living in a completely different way that we are living.
Yes. First of all, you have to think the different kind of nature that they have. They live in the tropical forest. They live around the peninsula that is all surrounded by the sea, by the Caribbean Sea, and by the Gulf of Mexico, and you have different kind of cities between the higher parts, the mountains, the middle part, and the peninsula that is a plain part. But they have many knowledge about the universe. They have a lot of knowledge about the stars, the time. So they use all this knowledge and relate it with the nature. And everything you will see here is related with the nature. And they thought there is an underworld related with of course, with the nature and the life. There's the world in which we are, and there is the heaven. Yes. So many pieces you will see this kind of relation. Many fantastic animals that also are related with the earth or with the heaven, and you can learn many things about them.
So you are one of the archaeologists who've worked on this excavation.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit how did you work on this?
Well, I'm in charge of Quintana Roo, it's one of the states of the Yucatan Peninsula. Many people know it's Cancun, or what is my state, but there are beaches, but also there are a lot of archaeological sites. from 200 BC to the moment of the Spanish conquest in 16th century. There are more than 2,000 archaeological sites in our area.
Right. So how long did it take you to do this, to research all these objects that we have here?
Well, the objects that we're presenting here from Quintana Roo is the work of 25 years, more or less.
Okay. And we see a lot of, you specialized in your region, but I see a lot of jade, for instance. Can you tell us a little bit, what's the signification and what does it mean?
Jade was one of the most important rocks for Maya people because most of the jade is green or blue-green, that is more or less the same color than maize, which is the principal plant for the Maya world. It was also a link with the origins. So that's why when a man or a woman dies, they put a piece of jade on his mouth because it was the symbol of the Renaissance and the travel to the underworld.
Okay, and you were saying that it has also a link with the soul?
Yes, of course, because the Maya thought that all the objects you can see here have a proper soul, and the images of a god not was only an image, but also a soul and a link with the gods. So it was very important to them.
Okay. And all the amongst all the objects that we have here, there's some from, like you were saying, from 200 BC to the conquer by the Spanish.
Yes.
So that means that we have a whole range of really different objects.
Yes, most of the objects came from tombs, from places with the people, but also there are architectonical elements, utilitarian elements, and most of them came from elite contexts that are the best preserved context in archaeological record.
There's this exhibition, but there is also a symposium, there's talks, plenty of workshops for kids and for all ages.
Absolutely. Throughout the summer, there's a whole range of activities. How to pick some out? There's chocolate tasting, for example. Fabulous, yeah. So we're running a whole range of things throughout the summer. So if you're a family looking for something to do, the exhibition is free and there's bags of things going on. We have trails throughout the exhibition as well. So if you're overwhelmed by the 385 objects that we've got a star object trail that will take you to some of the really incredible things that we have on display here. But there's also a chance to find out a little bit about the very unique writing system, the hieroglyphs that the Mayas used, and also it's all on the school curriculum now, of course, the Mayas. So if you're looking to get ahead for the new school year, then there you go.
Right. Thank you very much, Emma.
Thank you.
After the break on Arts Alive, we'll go to Golden Square Coffee to meet with the guys behind Topos, a surrealist exhibition based on collage. Welcome back to Arts Alive. We're now at Golden Square Coffee for the exhibition Topos, and I'm going to meet with Alex Smith, who's curated the exhibition. Alex, you're the curator of this exhibition. Can you tell us a little bit about it? You've been working with Ruben. For how long have you been knowing him?
I met Ruben in first year uni, so it was like 2011. We just kind of came together, like our mutual kind of love over collage and illustration. Never really worked together on projects until this one, really. I work with the Critter Shed a lot, so we've been looking into more solo exhibitions and more of a platform for people. And we've been mates with Ruben for so long and seeing his back catalogue of work from handmade collage, illustration and digital design work, I just thought it'd be quite nice to start it off with that. It's like a solid back of work, so it could hopefully it goes down well. It's quite thought-provoking work. Kind of makes you feel like you're meant to be transported into something that's just not here.
What do you mean? Because there's a theme to this exhibition.
No, there is a theme, and a lot of his works, it involves a lot of natural habitats, so there's space you got farmers' fields, you've got like mountains and things, and it's just kind of nice to see all that kind of brought together. So hopefully it just kind of gets people thinking. That's what exhibitions are about, really, aren't they?
How did you select the work in particular? I mean, is it like all this work together, came together, or did you select each piece to put in?
I selected, it was more, I hand-picked the screen prints, because I screen printed all the stuff for him, so what I thought would look well with what he picked with his analogue collage. I mean, these are just, as I say, like the extensive amount he's got. We could have just filled up the whole place. But yeah, I just kind of left it free and open for him to see what he wanted. Yeah, and then we worked together a bit more on selecting the screen prints.
It's meant to make us reflect on stuff, and there's like a lot of political involved into that. I mean, you see the images, there's like, religious, plenty of things.
Yeah. It's all just kind of taking a different spin on what we kind of see in normal kind of day-to-day life. I mean, as you say, like there's political and there's like money-orientated ones, and it's kind of just like a, I don't know, it's kind of more of a play than anything. It kind of, there's no real definition behind his work, so it's kind of free for thought.
This exhibition, who is it addressed to? Because it's a little bit, it's a bit hard to understand at first. I mean, it's collage, so it's pieces of work put together, but who would you address it to?
Anyone who kind of has an opinion on it, anyone who kind of can sit and have their own thoughts about the work on show. It's not really, it's quite open. I don't think there's anyone specific, because as you said before, there are subject matters here about, money, just about life in general, and so it's open to anyone really.
What I mean more is that it's not traditional.
No.
It's traditional art.
No, I mean, Liverpool's got an amazing art scene, and it's really coming up, especially the things down in the Royal Standards and stuff. So it's kind of just more of a platform to get as much art as we can on these white walls that we see. So yeah, it's just whoever appreciates it really.
Okay. And we're here at Golden Square Coffee. You're working here as well, actually?
Yeah. Work here, do exhibitions here.
Okay. So yeah, the exhibition is here until?
It runs for 2 weeks, so I think that takes it to the 4th or 5th of July, maybe.
4th or 5th of July. Yeah. Great, thank you very much.
Oh, no, it's all right.
Ruben, you're the artist who's been working for this exhibition. It's all about collage. Can you maybe tell us a little bit how you've been working on it?
The collage on show today, is a mixture of stuff that I've produced in the past 8 to 9 years. It is all analog collage, so it's all done by hand, cut paper, glue, scissors, scalpels and whatnot. It's something that I believe in utmost and personally when it comes to collage work. It's something that I believe in terms of collage itself is to be done by hand, cut paper, collage, and a little bit of glue and whatnot, and I've tried to make sure that I, carry that across in all my bits of work that I have. The work on show today is a bit of a mixture of personal work and work that I have tried to put an opinion across on. A lot of my work recently has been work on in terms of landscapes and whatnot, and that goes against, of course, like, rainforests, wilderness, the things that are starting to deplete in the world. At the same point, sometimes my work is more aesthetically pleasing, so I do a piece of work for me personally. If I like it, that's when I put it out and whatnot. So it's a bit of a compromise between the two things, and I do try to execute that as well as I can.
Okay. Yeah, because I've seen there's a lot of landscapes, we've got mountains, and it's funny how you got mountains and moons and It
is a very surrealist approach to collage. My inspirations are drawn from movies, illustrations, like other artists as well. Dada is a big influence for me. The whole Bauhaus movement as well is a big influence too. And it's a case of architecturally and in terms of like landscapes, bringing that together is something that I find quite challenging and quite exciting to do at the same time. I've leaned towards now more landscapes and building work opposed to genuine figures of figures opposed to trying to tell a story in that kind of manner. And I think it works quite well. Some of my favourite ones, like Yaks, for example, is a recent one, same thing as Peach, and 3005, which is a collage which just came to me. It's quite hard to try and source collage sometimes, and when you do source collage, some images work perfectly as they are, some images take a little bit more time. And
there is a message behind, and there's a strong political message behind as well.
Sometimes, it's quite difficult to do art and to have an idea that you want to try and put across with your work. What I try to do is make sure that the work that I have, I've got some sort of communication or some sort of relationship with the work itself, and then whatever the consumer or the audience gets from it, it can be anything from emotions, nostalgic elements, things that you also enjoy, like astronomy, space, that kind of thing. I try to incorporate that as much as I can. Some are, more, as you say, political than others. For example, Red Harvest, which is towards that way, quite, political in terms of blood diamonds and farming and using workers and whatnot. Again, you've got Yikes, which is a combination of us destroying the world and us making sure that it gets better, or that parallel between it. And then you've got things that are like a personal bit to me, like Creeps over there, which is, based on creeps. So, it's one of them ones. I try to make sure that, I draw inspiration from day-to-day stuff as well as things that I am influenced by, TV, books, films, and that kind of thing. I try to make sure that that is something that resonates throughout the work that I've produced,
And apart from collage, there's also print over there as well.
There are prints. I mean, I'm a graphic designer by trade. Collage is essentially the passion that I have for myself, and it's something that I enjoy doing for me personally. The stuff on show in terms of the print-based work is all under the Well-Wish Studios umbrella. It's something that I've been working on for the past few years. It's where I do most of my digital work, publications and that kind of thing. Most of it is quite dark, quite monochrome, quite levels in terms of black, whites and greys. Sometimes you have a nice burst of pink running through, sometimes green, sometimes blue, but essentially it is mostly monochrome. I'm able to be a lot more thought-provoking and descriptive with my print-based work, I'm also given the opportunity to do it on the computer, which it's one of those things where if you're doing things digitally, you essentially have everything at your fingertips and you don't have to worry about anything. It gives me a better chance to be more free, more elusive with what I decide to do in a certain sense.
Something that you didn't explain to us is the title of the exhibition, Topos. What does this mean?
Topos is the word, to begin with, it means nowhere. It's derived from a Latin definition of utopia. So utopia is, a paradise somewhere that is not real, but you'd like it to be, the ideal safe haven, the place where everything works. The reason why I call it Topos is because it's the exact reverse of that. It's nowhere, and essentially every bit of work that I have here is essentially nowhere. It doesn't exist. It's part of a surreal world that I've manifested and then put onto a piece of paper, and somehow it's turned into, an image which describes the things that I'm going through or what I'm trying to portray. Topos was something that I took a long time to decide on, but it seems to fit incredibly well, because as I said, this doesn't exist. The whole point of collage is to put two images together, juxtapose them and make something that isn't real become real. So the name of Topos for me personally fit exceptionally well.
Thank you very much, Ruben.
No worries, thank you. Cheers now.
That's all for this week in Art Alive. See you next time.